Hello, students and parents. Welcome to my Back to School Night virtual tour. My name is Paul Evans, and I'm going to be your English 11 teacher for the next year. My contact information is on this slide here. It's also going to come at the end, and it's pretty easy to find. If you have any questions at any point about the class or any goings on, please feel free to reach out. I'm pretty easy to reach. I'm always on my email. Let's get going. A brief introduction of myself. I've been teaching, this is my third full year at Golden. The last 2 years, it's been just a privilege to work with the colleagues that I have and the students that I get to interact with and teach and learn from every day has been just a joy. Teaching itself, I had a teacher when I was a sophomore and a junior in high school who completely changed my perspective on the power of literature and the power of reading, and reading not just for an assignment, but reading to become a more well-rounded person. And he completely changed my perspective and showed me that the value in that. And I decided I wanted to do for others what he did for me. So that's kind of my entry point in, is kind of presenting texts in a different way, in a way that makes them immediately relevant to a student's life. And other than that, so it goes without saying, I love to read. And I just bought a house with my wife this summer, so we've been putting all of our time, energy, and resources into that. And also just hanging out with my dog, taking her on walks, and she's gonna have a tough time when I go back to work. That's it for me. You'll learn more as we go. This class itself, I teach it kind of as a world literature course. That doesn't mean we're not reading American text, because I think America has an important role in the world too. How I approach it is kind of a close reading of the world, and then also placing the student life into that role, kind of finding where your perspective is and the influence and power you could have on that world. We're going to be reading all sorts of different things, not just books by any means, but essays and poems, and we'll read some architecture, and we will read the world around us, not just through novels, but through all the texts that we're always interacting with. The class is going to be based around a lot of really, really big ideas that are nearly impossible to grasp, but we'll try to kind of pick at them with different perspectives on those ideas. So an idea like identity, it's just an impossible thing to wrap your whole head around at one time. But if we pick and choose different versions of that, we can kind of find out what our own is, or talent, or we have a lot of these very big ideas. What does it mean to become an adult? What does it mean to have a profession? These big ideas that we can then use these texts and things around us to kind of find our place in those. Those texts are constantly having a conversation and are constantly connected with each other. So my role as a teacher is to give you these different ideas and from different vantage points and in different genres, and kind of show that they're all talking about the same mysterious things that we're all trying to figure out. So a text written in an Atlantic article yesterday might be talking to a poem that was written in the 1700s. And the fact that they're both dealing with the same kind of issues shows that no one has figured them out yet. And we won't either, but we can start wrapping our heads around them and having our own position. And my goal is for you to develop a position, not just a flippant opinion that everyone seems to have and they're very loud. Ours can be a more nuanced, more perspective-based, more critically thought out position on your role in the world. My role as the teacher is to create a community where students feel they're in a safe environment to share their voice and to develop their own voice. These texts are going to be getting to some controversial topics. They're going to get to some stuff that's difficult to talk about, and I need to create a community where people feel safe to do that. And in the classroom environment, that was an easier thing to do. And this is going to be an adjustment period where we'll have to find different ways to do that. But my job is to create a space where students can explore their own role in this world. The student's role in this is coming into that environment with an open mind, being willing to change your mind or hear someone else's perspective and acknowledge that that's a relevant perspective, but also still pushing back against it. Having disagreements in a respectful way is going to be a really powerful thing for these students to figure out how to do. There's a lot of loud yelling going on in the world right now, and I think being able to disagree with someone in a respectful way is going to be a talent, and it's a skill that we need to develop. With that being said, I think this is a risk. It's a risk to go into a conversation knowing that you might have your mind changed, knowing that someone might push back against what you actually believe in. Being willing to take that risk is a really good jumping off point for this class. Come in with your own perspective and be willing to have that perspective shift. The third bullet here, and maybe one of the most important bullets for this entire school year, is going to be please ask questions. This is for students and for parents, but especially students right now. This is going to be a completely different experience in this form of learning. And I'm pushing you to not waste your time being confused about the logistics of the school year. So if there's anything confusing about the logistical structures of how I'm presenting things, let's get those out of the way. So if you're ever confused on that side, please ask questions. If you're ever confused about an idea we're talking about, I probably won't give you an answer because I don't have all of those, but I can give you something else to read that might help you through that. But asking questions about how to get through the structures of this year is going to be really important. So please don't hesitate to reach out with any question at any time so we can get past that stuff and into the actual learning. With those questions comes your flexibility, because this is going to be new for the school itself, for me, and for you. So if something doesn't go perfectly, if some form of technology isn't working, please be flexible, please be patient, and if something fails miserably in class one day, we're going to come back the next day and try it in a different way, try to use a different tool, or just figure out ways that we can make this worth all of our times, because I think it's going to be, and that's why I'm so excited to get back to doing what we do. The last thing is none of the previous points matter if we don't come to class prepared. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that we've read. You need to have their perspective in your head so that you can create your own. So preparation means you're ready to learn with an open mind. You've also done the work necessary to bring it into class to be able to use it. These texts are going to be tools for students to form their own opinions around. And if we haven't done the work outside of class to come to class prepared, we won't be able to get to where we need to get to. That's our main goal. Materials is going to be pretty simple from this end. The books, we're trying to figure out the logistics with the library right now and how to get books into students' hands. That's going to come as we go. So once again, be flexible and be patient. The one thing we do need is a notebook. Just a spiral notebook is fine. What I'm going to be calling this is a writer's notebook. So it's kind of act as a journal. If students want to find a journal that's more, let's see, like something more leather bound or something that they can kind of be more proud of. I write better when I write in something that feels more professional. So any lined paper is good because we're going to be on computers a lot. I also want students away from the screen and doing writing in a different format. Other than that, the materials are going to come up as we go. So I'll give you plenty of time in advance to obtain those materials. Once again, here's my contact information. Please reach out if you need anything from me. If you ever have a question, don't hesitate to reach out. The school year is going to be very different than any school year ever before. So, and I'm really excited to kind of experiment and figure this out as we go, while still making it a place where we can push ourselves and learn and take risks. I can't wait to see you all. Let me know if you have any questions before school starts, and see you in a couple days.